And welcome back, everybody, to episode 32 of Around the Bases with Bubba and Mo. I am Bubba. You can find me on Twitter at BDentric. And as always, joined by my co-host, Mo. You can find him on Twitter at Boston_Mo. Mo, how we doing?
The playoff edition, Bubba, the playoff edition. But before I begin the playoff edition, and we do have one other story other than this, I just wanted to get your thoughts because I can't tell you how much I laughed the other night, and this is pretty sad to do that to you. Pablo Sandoval ended the season game 162 with a walk-off homer, and you lost the number one pick because of it. I just need a quick thought.
I can't give you a quick thought. I can give you a long dialogue with four-letter words involved because, trust me, this question you're asking me, I had text messages from multiple people, DMs. I had things sent to me about the Panda and the greatness of Pablo Sandoval. A guy that goes like 0 for 32 decides to finally hit one, he finally got his gut into it, and he put it out. It was just typical Giants season in a nutshell right there. And like I was talking about before is I can't stand the Giants fans that want Pablo back. It blows my mind that people want him back. I just don't get it. I know he's cheap.
It's a marketing slogan, marketing panda, marketing everything about Pablo.
It's the Giants way, though. You win with a guy and you bring him back. Freddie Sanchez, Aubrey Huff, and they all go to crap, and then they eventually retire. This is Pablo Sandoval in a nutshell. He's going to lose all kinds of weight in the offseason. Everyone's going to have high standards, and by the end of April, he's going to be 20 pounds over what he ended this season with, and we're going to be figuring it out again. So, yep, Pablo Sandoval strikes again. But, yes, I'm glad you enjoyed that. Remember, you can find us on Twitter at AroundBasesPod. But as Mo said, the playoff edition, it's crazy, folks. We started this about a month before the season started, and we are already into the playoffs. But before we get into that good stuff, as you mentioned, we have one other topic, and it happened today, and it's just pretty funny because we have buried the Mets this year, buried them. We started the year with David Price news because that was every week. Then it turned into we could have Mets news every freaking week because it was something, an injury, something in the front office, something stupid. Well, Terry Collins, he quote-unquote stepped down as manager, and they gave him a spot as the assistant to the GM or something. But the more important one, Ray Ramirez, the athletic trainer or whatever they call him on the Mets, because I wouldn't call him anything besides, cursed. He's gone. He gone. What are your thoughts?
He's been there for like 20 years, and they've had the best young pitching in baseball, and now we don't even know what they have, to be honest with you. I mean, DeGrom is great. Thor, when he's healthy, is great. Harvey's maybe done isn't the word, but done with the Mets probably. He's got one more year. They had to make this move. Now they're keeping everybody else. So they didn't clean house completely, but they got rid of the guy that's been there the longest. So maybe that will fix things. Terry Collins is getting he'll probably get $100,000 check each year, retirement check. Thank you for bringing us close to a World Series. Thank you for bringing us to a playoffs. Thank you for everything. Now, stay away and, come to spring training and give your knowledge, and that's it. We're going to talk about this more in the offseason in terms of who the next manager could be. I know there's a lot of names being floating out there. There's the playoff edition. They finally did the right thing. The Wilpon, I can't believe they did it. Hallelujah to all the Mets fans. They should be ecstatic today. It's a new day in Queens. New day, Bubba.
One question. I'm not sure you saw it yesterday. What was Jacob deGrom thinking? He cut the locks. The locks are gone. He's high and tight. He was with David Wright. They both got their haircut together, which I don't want. I'd stay away from David Wright. If I have any control of the Mets, you stay away from David Wright. Like, that's the worst thing outside of Ray Ramirez right now. But he cut his hair, and that's one thing. First, what are your thoughts on that? And Thor better not do this.
Okay, I did not see this. I've been in a bubble.
It's amazing.
I did not see this. Let me look it up real quick. This is again great radio. So let's take a look here.
He's ready for a school picture.
Oh my God. Oh my, that's awful.
Yes.
I mean, we know he's got great hair. So like that thing, I don't think it moves up the top, but whoa, we need the lettuce in the back. You can't get rid of that lettuce. I don't like it. Maybe he did it now so that when he gets back to spring training, it's going to be back and perfect, but I don't like it, Bubba. I don't like it at all.
Hopefully, maybe it's a charity thing. No reports yesterday came out. No reports yesterday came out charity. That's why I'm making fun of it. If it's charity, I apologize. I'll take it all back. Yeah. But it's been 24 hours and I've not seen a charity story. So I'm going with he just decided he wanted to look like Matt Harvey and hopefully pitch like Noah Syndergaard.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, if it's charity, we take it back, but I don't like it one bit. To be honest with you, even if it's charity, I'm glad he did it, but I still don't like it one bit. So I don't like the look of it. I like the gesture of charity. I don't like the look of it. That's it. Okay, let's get to the postseason. I'm very excited. You're very excited. This came up today in Boston radio. There was a prominent guy, Michael Felger, kind of said, this is the greatest sports invention of all time, the one-game playoff. It is a thrill. I would never watch the Twins. Now, this is it. He's not really he's a baseball guy, but he's one of those guys where I can't watch it for more than 2.5 hours. This 4-hour stupid stuff, I can't do it. And that's not us. That's not, baseball fans that listen to this podcast and, are a part of baseball Twitter, whatever you want to call it. What's that?
So he's a woman.
Yeah, well, some people would say that. If Boston people are listening, they'll probably laugh at that. So and I'll show you a picture later of him in Nantucket with napkins on his legs, like covering himself. That's neither here nor there. Most of the people will have no clue what I'm talking about. But I love the wild card format. I don't think there's a perfect scenario, but at the same time, you don't want them going to 3 games. I think the one-game playoff there's so much drama. And if you want to win, if you don't want to be in it, win your division. You probably going to say the same thing.
Yeah. You can't do 3 games. You just can't because, some of these guys are already going to be on 6 days rest or 7 days. They're going to put them a whole week plus behind. It's great drama. The only bad part I would say is most years you have like 2 teams neck and neck fighting for it. This year it's like the Yankees were kind of a good ways ahead of the Twins. Diamondbacks way ahead of the Rockies. So it's hard to say the other team deserved to be there, like most years. But that's what it is. And you said it best, and I've said it for years, because the Giants, they knock guys out in the wild card. That's how they've done it. And everyone cries that the Giants weren't good enough. Well, then don't be in that game. It's that simple. Don't be in the game. It's great. It starts tonight, and it's not going to change. If anything, it'll only expand to more teams the way they want to make money. So it's not going to get any. You're not going to see more than a one-game playoff.
Yeah, completely agree.
All right, NL wild card matchup: Colorado Rockies and our Arizona Diamondbacks. NL West brought 3 teams to the dance this year. Just wanted to throw that out there. Of course, the Giants aren't one of them, but they brought 3. I'm pretty sure we agree heavily on this, but it's all Diamondbacks for me unless Greinke just completely gets shellacked. He pitches amazing in that ballpark, better there than he does on the road, which is crazy. Coors Light, very lively. Colorado's got great offense. This could be one of those Royals-A's games where it's 11-10 and they win it in a walk-off, or this could be a pitcher's duel because, like you mentioned last week, and you'll probably mention again, so I won't take it all. John Gray's a great pitcher too. So I got the D-backs. What are your thoughts on this game?
I have the D-backs too. The bullpen for the Rockies haven't been as good in the second half as they have the first half. Obviously, Pat Neshek was a great pickup. That was my guy for the Red Sox. I mean, Addison Reed's been fine, but he's been a great pickup. But Jake McGee, Holland, Ottavino, they haven't been as lights out as they were. So if John Gray doesn't give them 7 innings minimum, it's just not happening for them. I mean, the offense is scary. The Arenado, Blackman, Carlos Gonzalez finally back. I saw some headline on Bob Nightingale saying that he was sleep deprived or something like that, and that's what fixed it. I didn't read the story because it just came before we started recording, but we'll look into going into next season. I think it's the Diamondbacks, but again, 1-game playoff, anything can happen in baseball. But talent-wise and on paper, this should be the Diamondbacks. Not easily again, but the Diamondbacks should take this one. Tonight's matchup, Minnesota, New York, and I'll lead it off by saying, for me, as a Red Sox fan, I want the Yankees to lose because I think it would be hilarious because they're all very confident. We're going to crush the Twins. We're already better than the Red Sox. We have a chance to go farther than them, even though we might play the Indians. But the story would be Twins. I mean, they have had a tremendous year. Paul Molitor, if he doesn't win it, he'll probably finish second in the Manager of the Year voting, behind Tito, I would guess. But just because of the win streak and just how well they've done this year. But, yeah, I think you're probably going to go chalk 2 on this one with the Yankees.
On paper, it's there. On paper, it's there. I want to see the Twins win, especially for the fact, not just because you're a Red Sox fan, but for people that have listened long enough, we killed them off a while ago, and they're in the playoffs. So that's one of our predictions that went horribly wrong. I'd like to see that disappear. Severino is an ace. If he pitches his game, goes to that bullpen. That's what they made the trades for and built it for. It's their game to lose. You don't really see many minus 200-plus favorites in a playoff game. But the Twins story is amazing. That team, they're a baseball team, like a really good, together baseball team. A lot of young talent. Both these teams, people could say, are ahead of where they're supposed to be. Like, these are teams we could see for a bit. It should be the Yankees. And, yeah, hard to argue that. I would love to see the Twins. And, honestly, the Twins winning would not surprise me. The Rockies winning would surprise me more than the Twins, if I put it that way. Like, there's no surprises, like you said, but the Twins would be – I could see that happening a lot more likely, basically.
Yeah, and I think – and just one more point on that, Bubba. It came out today that Miguel Sano, and he's been hurt. He's not going to be on the roster for the game. I thought possibly he could pinch hit. I'm very, very intrigued to watch the Twins because – I haven't watched them a ton in the last month and a half. I watched them a little bit in the summer just because I had a little bit more time, and I thought it was very interesting. That lineup is very, very underrated with what they've done this year. But if they had Sano, it would be, and they traded that whole bullpen too. They really did because they thought they didn't think they were out of it, but at the same time they thought, you know what, we can get something for these guys. Maybe they're overachieving a little bit, Brandon Kinsler and whatnot. But Byron Buxton tonight, man, I'm very excited to watch him on a national stage. As you know, a lot of casual fans have not seen him play and may not even know how good he's been in the second half. I hope he robs Judge of a homer right in front of the All Rise people. It would be wonderful. It'd be wonderful.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to Buxton on the big stage. You made a good point. There was at one point they were buyers and they went and got Jaime Garcia, and then 3 days later they're now sellers, and it was over, and then they make a run. So it's a great story, Minnesota. It would be fun to watch. Be interesting to see what they do with Paul Molitor after this run. Many think he's still dead, but who knows? Let's go to the NLDS. Likely, hopefully, our pick, the Diamondbacks facing the Los Angeles Dodgers. Diamondback sweep, right? It's a tough one. It's a tough one, but they match up very well against the Dodgers. I'll take the Diamondbacks. We've said it enough, but Diamondbacks for me. What do you got?
I can't wait to see that series line. I really can't. I think it's going to be a lot closer than we think. The only issue that I do have is people, we both fell in love with the Diamondbacks. We all know about it. And people fell out of love with the Dodgers when they went on, their little streak of losses and to end the season. They still won 105 games. So if if they don't win at like an 800 clip in like June, July, and then lose at what they lost at, and they kind of mesh that all together, then we're probably saying the Dodgers win this. So I was one of the ones that didn't overreact on that. I think it's interesting that what they do, the Diamondbacks, what they do with Jake Lamb. JD Martinez, can he continue that hot streak? And then their pitching. I don't know if they've set their rotation yet. I was looking at. I don't think they have, because it's a 1-game playoff, so you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. But Robbie Ray, you would guess would go game 1. You would guess probably Godley, probably game 2, with maybe Taijuan Walker, or if Greinke's ready to go, you go right at Greinke for game 3. That's what I'm a little bit worried about. I think this is Kershaw's time. So I am going to go with the Dodgers, because I think he wins 2 of those games, which means you have to figure out you have to win one of the other 3. I think this is Kershaw's time. We all know I picked them at the beginning of the season to beat my Red Sox. I'm not going to back off that now. I'm just not. I just can't do it.
Okay.
So you going D-backs?
I got D-backs. I'm going with the D-backs. A, because I hate the Dodgers, just like you hate the Yankees. And B, I just love the way the Diamondbacks match up with the Dodgers. They have the lineup for all those lefties. It is going to come down to what Kershaw can do and what the other pitchers outside of Greinke can do. They've never been here before. And there's a lot to be said about that. And those are storylines you're going to hear all throughout the postseason with a lot of these teams. Like that was the thing I'm worried about with the Yankees tonight. Severino's never been on a stage like this. So you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, look, if the Diamondbacks win, that would be wonderful, because they're a very interesting team, and again, can't mention the Diamondbacks without saying Torey Lovullo. So I'm very, very excited about that guy. Okay, let's move to the other series that we know is happening: the Cubs and the Nationals. There's so many storylines in this series. I mean, just a few. Scherzer, Arrieta injuries. When does Lester pitch? Strasburg, is he going to continue his playoff stuff? I know he mentioned a month ago that, hey, I should have pitched back in whatever it was, 2011 or 2010. And I shouldn't have let them shut me down. The offenses for both teams. It's just there's so many question marks, so many storylines. It's a very intriguing series. Give us your thoughts and let me know, who do you have in the series?
Yeah, you mentioned Scherzer, you mentioned Arrieta. There's Harper, who, how healthy is he? He played for about a week and he looked bad with the flu. It's a mess. Lester, if he starts, Trey Turner might steal 12 bases. It's nuts, because he can bunt and he's going to throw it down the right field line. So you're going to get on, and then he might steal home on the guy. It could get wild there. It'll be interesting. The Nationals, to me, and this is going to sound really weird because the Cubs are a great baseball team. There's no taking away from this. But what the Nats have done this year compared to the Cubs this year, to me, the Nats are the much better team. But not like much might not be the right word, but the more complete team, consistent team. Consistent's the big thing for me. The Cubs offense has been so inconsistent. It's been bad. And the most important part, we've talked about it, is the Nationals bullpen is actually a bullpen now. And that is tremendously important. Tremendously important. Because people will remember last year the way Tito Francona used a bullpen. You're going to see a lot more teams do that this year. A lot. And especially a team like the Nationals that traded for guys that they might have for another year or two. But in the big scheme of things, they don't care about, because we've said it many times, they have to win now. This is the time. So I got the Nationals in this one, but it really, really shapes up to be an awesome series. And the most important part, Wrigley's going to be rocking. The best thing the Cubs have going for them is Dusty Baker's managing the Nationals. So that helps them out a ton.
I've got the Nationals. I just think they're due. And as you said, we've mentioned they're in a 2-year window here in terms of Bryce Harper, Zimmerman's age, a few other guys. I just think that the pitching will be much better. And I don't think the offense, other than Rizzo, Bryant, I know Contreras has had a great year. Zobrist has been terrible down the road here. I was just looking up in September, and Almora didn't walk once in like the last month. I know he doesn't walk a lot, but I just thought it was very interesting to see. I just think they're the much better team. I think the Cubs they won their World Series, and it's good that they did. I just think Scherzer, it's his time too, and he's in collision course to face Kershaw. Now I hope to God he stays healthy. I really do. And I think even if he's not healthy, you may see it a little bit, but he's going to pitch through it because that guy's a bulldog. That guy's a warrior, and he'll pitch it through anything. I think the Nationals will get there, and I think it'll be Nationals-Dodgers in the NLCS.
One last thing. An interesting factor also is Contreras, who's a monster. He has not homered since he came back from the DL. So he's not as right as he should be.
Yeah, okay.
ALDS. We think it's going to be the Yankees. Yankees against Cleveland. Cleveland, to me, I won't give away my final picks, is outstanding. Hottest team in baseball. Everyone's going to think they're outstanding because of that. We liked them before that. This team's just phenomenal. I have them taking care of business. Might not be as easy as I think, but I think especially if the Yankees get there and don't have Severino till game 2 or 3, that's huge. Absolutely huge. So give me the Indians in this one.
Yeah, I hope it's Indians-Yankees, because that would be an awesome series to watch, and it's going to be in prime time. Not to jump to the Red Sox, but the Red Sox are in the afternoon for me.
And you get to watch you get to watch a Yankees slow death instead of a one game tonight. You could watch a slow death of the Yankees.
Oh, but it would be just tremendous if they lost to the Twins, because I'd have like a year's worth of material that you lost to. I don't want to say terrible Twins, because I think they're a lot better than we all thought they were, as you said. But the talent on the Indians compared to the talent on the Twins is just leaps and bounds. The Yankees and Twins, but it's the Indians. I think I don't know whether Francona is mixing with too much here by starting Bauer game 1 and Kluber game 2. That's a little. I don't think that's the right move for me, because it's not like he's on short rest going in game 1. I think they just wanted them to have a little extra rest. And then they said they wanted them in game 5, which if it was game 1, you'd get them in game 4. So I don't know why they did that. Bauer's been good in the second half. He has been good. Hope he stays away from drones between now and Thursday. That would be very nice, because we don't want that happening again. The Indians are stacked, and it would be just interesting. It'd be really, and baseball is a weird game. We know that. Last year, they weren't expected to do anything because it was Kluber and nobody else. And now they're fully stocked. Like, they have too many pitchers. So there's no reason why they shouldn't win this series, especially like you said with Severino. But if somehow that offense, that awesome Indians offense, doesn't get there and the Yankees get to their bullpen and their bullpen performs how they're supposed to, that's the key to this series. If who can get to their bullpen first? We know the starting pitching for the Indians is awesome, and we know Severino's awesome, and Sonny Gray has all the potential in the world. But Tanaka's been much better lately. Who gets to their bullpen first, I think, is the key to this series. I think the Indians will do it. I think they'll be fine. And I think they'll get it done. I do think it's a little bit longer series than we think. I think they'll do it in 6 on the road, or 6. Yeah, 4. Sorry. I had a little mind, whatever. I'm out of it there. But yeah, they'll do it in 4. Same thing as 6. One game before the last one. So yeah, let's forget that. We just did that. But yeah, Indians, you got it, Bubba. You got it.
Take us to your boys.
Yeah, take us to my boys. I'm not gonna preface this by saying anything. We'll let you do it first. Red Sox and Astros, lay it on me. Let's do it.
I have Houston.
Yep.
Nothing personal.
Yep.
There's too many question marks with Boston. The understatement would say they limped into the playoffs. They are a very talented team.
Let me interject there. There was no limping into the playoffs, and let me just point this out, that everyone thought that they limped into the playoffs. The Yankees were just so good that we just couldn't. We couldn't.
I'm going to save that soundbite right there.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, if we had that if we had that capability, we could play that again. Yeah, let's do that. The Yankees were just so good in September that it had to go to the end. Everyone was acting like we lost so many games. I mean, I could go to the schedule real quick and tell you that no, that wasn't the case. In September we were like 19-11 or something like that, and the Yankees were just better in September. So there was no limping. Okay, there was no limping. Maybe there wasn't a full sprint, but there was running. Okay, there was running.
Okay, so you got the Yankees over the Red Sox if they meet in the ALCS. Gotcha. But I like the Astros. The Verlander trade that's the key factor in all of this. Adding Verlander to that rotation with a very talented offense. Like you've said before, Boston has to win Sale's start to have any chances. If you lose Sale's start, especially game one, just sign it off. It's not likely to happen. Now, just a reminder, we're just talking figuratively. Baseball's such a crazy game; anything can happen. But if things play out as they should, the Astros take this. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes 5, just because the Red Sox are experienced. They know what they're doing. We've seen the Astros actually as a whole, like if you look at the total package of their stats, have struggled against left-handed pitching this year compared to what you'd expect. They've hit them fine, but nothing like you'd expect with the lineup they have. Maybe they've hit better the last month or so, but on a season whole, they really haven't been the world beaters everybody makes them out to be. But you got Verlander, you got Keuchel, and then they have a slew of options. It could be like a couple guys go 3 innings, and you go to the bullpen. You got one guy goes 3 or 4, you go to Vinsky. They have many, many ways to piece together their games and get to Giles. That's the big thing for me. The Red Sox pitching, you got Sale. They announced Pomeranz going game 2. Then after that, it's like you've mentioned it a few times on past pods. It's like, what are they going to do with because you don't trust anybody. Is it Fister? Is it this? Is it that? It's a lot of question marks, but still they are a good ball club, an experienced ball club. So it wouldn't shock me, but I'm taking the Astros in 5.
What I'm confused about this whole thing with the Red Sox is Eduardo Rodriguez in September he had a 3.33 ERA and a 3.45 FIP, and his last start wasn't great, but he was good, and he was good down the stretch. Seemed like he figured it out, and his knee issue was out of the way. And I think he's a mental midget, but he kind of figures it. He figured it out a little bit, and he fought through it. And I can tell you this. David Price coming out of the bullpen is electric. That unique elbow can pitch out of the bullpen, okay? He's hitting 98. Okay, that elbow is so unique. He's decided to just lock it all in and hit 98 on the gun. I don't know why they're not they're not announcing Eduardo Rodriguez, but I think it's just to see how the first 2 games go in terms of the bullpen and when Price comes in. In a perfect world, Sale goes 8 innings in the first game and Kimbrel comes in. They don't use anyone else. And in the second game, they can pull Pomeranz early if he just starts to do what he normally does. I agree with you that this is going to be – I think a lot of people think the Astros are going to run away with this, including the Astros fans. The offense is the thing. I think there's a lot of guys that have a lot to prove. And I think one guy that no one's talking about because he had just such a horrid season is Hanley Ramirez. There's a possibility where he has at-bats that vests a 2019 option for next year. He needs a lot of them. So if he wants to be the starter and get those at-bats, he's got to perform this postseason. Eduardo Nunez has to be healthy. That's a key factor too, because he can play everywhere. They can sit Devers against the lefty if they need to. The Jackie Bradley thing, I posted a thing when I got the 280 characters. I decided to post some long thing about Jackie Bradley, how much he sucked. But he'll make a defensive play. I have to stick with my Red Sox in 5. I just do. I think Sale gets it done. I think the bullpen is way underrated. I really believe that. Just watching them every day. And I think the bullpen for the Astros are a little bit overrated, to be honest with you. Ken Giles has been good, Musgrove has been good out of the bullpen. Davinsky has not lately. I'm going with my Red Sox. I'm going to stick with them. It might be a slightly biased opinion, especially since I picked them to go to the World Series, but hard for the long run. And the sneaky key to this is if the Red Sox can get on base against Verlander and against Keuchel and, whoever else they go with, they're going to be running. They can't throw runners out. They cannot. Okay. And so there's going to be a lot of stolen bases for the Red Sox if they get on base. And it's going to put the pitchers under pressure to really get that ball there quick and maybe miss a location here and there. So I think that's the sneaky key to this series.
Yeah, out of the 4 opening round series, I think that's the biggest question mark series to me. The biggest. I hope it goes 5. It's got a lot of talent for some really, really good stuff. Now, when we talk, we kind of half mentioned our guys there. Let's talk AL/NL champs. I had the D-backs versus the Nationals, and I had the Indians versus the Astros. I'm going Nationals, Indians in the World Series. What do you got?
I am going Indians and Dodgers in the World Series. I'm sticking with my Dodgers, but I'm going against my Red Sox. I think the Indians are primed to win this World Series. I know the Cubs were the chalk pick last year, and now the Indians are the chalk pick this year. I just think that they're a wagon, and I don't think they're going to be stopped. They have the best manager in baseball, in my opinion, right now, and that's because Bochy had – not that he had a terrible year, but the team was bad, and I just think Tito pulls all the punches. So I've got the Dodgers against the Indians in the World Series. Who's your champion?
My champion is Indians. I'm kind of like you said. I'm not getting in front of the train. Just not happening. I'll take them.
Yeah, and I'm also going against my preseason pick. I'm taking the Indians, and what a podcast this is that we're going all chalk. But I think, like I said, they're a wagon, and they won't be stopped unless something happens to Corey Kluber. That's the only thing. I think anyone else can get injured, and I think they would be okay. Maybe Andrew Miller's like 1A, or Cody Allen. But if they lose Kluber, then it opens it up a little bit because he's the horse that they need, even with Carrasco and Bauer pitching well. If they don't lose Kluber, I think they win the World Series, like you said.
Yeah, and people forget that they were up 3-1 last year. So they know he's got to close this time.
Yep.
With that being said, this week's interview, another playoff preview with our guest, Tommy Stokke of the Sporting News, covering the Diamondbacks for the Sporting News. We go kind of just what we did there, series by series, little predictions, Tommy's insights on those, and we'll talk some postseason awards. So go check that out, and we'll be right back. All right, good stuff from Tommy. He's on the same page with us on a lot of things there, and he probably will be on the awards too from what we've talked about in past episodes. What were your thoughts on that interview with Tommy?
Yeah, great interview. Diamondbacks guy, so I'm a little jealous there. Got to mention my boy Lavello, so that's like the 3rd time in this podcast we've mentioned him. We should have a drinking game. I'd be drunk every time probably we talk about that guy. But, yeah, very interesting to see. I know he's on – he had Indians Nationals in the preseason, so that's a great pick for him that he could continue with that where we really couldn't.
Yeah, let's talk some MLB awards. Some are kind of tight, some aren't. We can skip over the Rookie of the Years most likely, but AL MVP. I've been on the Altuve bandwagon all along. Aaron Judge is making his case. I can't argue that. He's made his case. If he makes it, he makes it. But I'm all over the Altuve bandwagon, the consistency, not just this year, just period. But he's a maniac. Hitting 346. 32 stolen bases to go 24 homers, 112 runs, so on and so forth. Only strikes out 12.7% of the time. let that sink in. What do you got for your AL MVP?
I got Altuve too. I mean, Judge made a run at the end, obviously, after his couple of horrible months, and got himself to 52 homers, broke McGuire's record. I just think that Altuve, he had to kind of battle through, Correa being hurt, Springer was hurt, so he had to carry that team. Even though they had a big cushion, he had to carry that offense when those two were hurt along the summer. And I just think he was the most consistent player. Now, what I'm worried about is the BBWAA, being some of the old guys that they are going to look at and say, hey, Judge on the Yankees, they weren't supposed to be here. He hit 52 homers, 128 runs, and he drives in 33 more RBIs, and that's really all they look at. And they don't look at anything else, and then Judge ends up winning it. And that's kind of what I'm thinking. But I would pick Altuve.
Yep.
For the NL MVP, one isn't so cut and dry. There's a bunch of guys that are there, and there are a couple guys that didn't make the playoffs that might be at the front of that. I mean, I'm just going to name 6 that you could honestly make a case to give it to, and that's not in any order: Rendon, Goldschmidt, Blackmon, Votto, Giancarlo, Arenado. I've got my guy. Who do you think wins it?
I love Tommy's stance on Joey Votto. That's who I would pick, but that's not who I think wins it. I don't think he'll get it. Like you mentioned the BBWAA on the last thing. I don't see it happening. I'm going to go with Goldschmidt. The fact he didn't get to 20 stolen bases disappoints me, but man, 36 homers, 117 runs, 120 RBIs, hit almost 300, and he had a horrible month of September, which might cost him in this. You mentioned a bunch of guys. There's really nothing that I could argue with pretty much any of them. I'd love to see Anthony Rendon because no one expects him, and he had an amazing season. I think it's either Goldschmidt or Giancarlo for the year he had. I couldn't get mad either way. I think preseason, we were talking earlier, I had Votto or Arenado. I think Arenado and Blackmon kind of cancel each other out votes-wise. A sneaky one also that you didn't mention, but he's had a quiet good season, is Chris Bryant. Almost identical numbers to his MVP year last year, but everybody else has played so well. But I'm going to go Goldschmidt. What do you have?
Yeah, I've got I'm in the same boat with Votto. I mean, that year is just stupid. I mean, he walks almost 20% of the time, 36 homers, 100 RBIs on the terrible Reds, 106 runs, 320, 454 OBP. I mean, he's just been stupid. You're right. Chris Bryant has had, a better year than people think, but he only drove in 73, and that's really his job on that team for the most part, is to drive in runs along with Rizzo. So I kind of knock him down a peg there. Not that RBIs are the craziest stat in the world. I know batting close to the top of the order most of the time. I want Votto to win really badly because he's getting older. He can only go downhill from here. You hope the Reds compete quicker so that he gets something. But I think it's very, very weird. I think I would honestly pick Goldschmidt with you just because of what he means to that Diamondbacks team. But I'm worried again that Giancarlo could be the one to win it based off of what he's done in terms of he almost had 60 homers and people are still going, off of homers and just regular in average and whatnot. He drove in 132, which is just stupid. And they had probably a better year than they should have, even though they weren't close to anything. So I would go Goldschmidt. Just because of the playoffs over Votto. If there were playoffs or close to playoffs, I think Votto probably has the best resume to win it without the playoffs, and that hurts him in the MVP. And that's what most voters vote on is how if you're the MVP, why didn't your team make the playoffs? And that's kind of what they look at.
Yep. I'm not going to go deep on this. AL Rookie of the Year, I've got Aaron Judge.
Yep, I get the same. That's a tough one.
Yep, pretty easy there.
NL Rookie of the Year, Bellinger. Hey, you call up Rhys Hoskins maybe a month and a half earlier, and then we got maybe something going on there. But yeah, Bellinger probably has that.
Yep, no argument there. Well, let's go straight into the AL Cy Young, where it's still like a 2-horse race, but Corey Kluber took it for me. 2.25 ERA. That is bananas. Absolutely bananas. Just talk about a horse. He'd just go 8-9 innings almost at will, striking out the world. Not as many as your guy struck out, but still a very, very, very impressive season. What do you have at the AL Cy Young?
Yeah, I'm waving the white flag. Kluber wins it. I mean, the guy pitched 11 less innings than Sale in 3 less starts. So, like you said, he was just an absolute wagon. He had a tremendous, tremendous season. He's the best pitcher. I think honorable mention is the 23-year-old Luis Severino. I mean, the Yankees are not where they are without that guy. I mean, and the funny thing is not that wins matters anymore. We don't care about wins per se. We only won 14 games with a 2.98 ERA. He had 50% ground balls, which is great, and 7.1 Ks per 9, and got the home run per 9 down, got the walks per 9 down. So he had a tremendous year too, and I just want to mention him to all the Yankee fans because that guy was scary this year, even though we tagged him one game. All right, let's move to our last one. Let's move to the NL Cy Young again. It's probably between 2 guys, I would say, and I think you might say the same thing, but I'll go ahead and mention a few that had great years. Obviously, Scherzer and Kershaw are kind of the lead dogs, and then you got Strasburg, you got Greinke, you got DeGrom, who had a sneaky good year. Again, honorable mention. He had didn't have a ton of innings, 168, but they're watching him out. Was Aaron Nola, had a sneaky good year, and then Jimmy Nelson pitched well before he got hurt. But I think it's between Scherzer and Kershaw. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely those 2. I give the nod to Scherzer, but I've heard a lot of Kershaw love, and it's pretty impressive. If you look at Kershaw's career, he's lowered his ERA every season, like career ERA. That is ridiculous. I got Scherzer, but it's closer than I want it to be because Kershaw just continues to be that amazing guy. Scherzer threw 25 more innings than him, but the Ks are somewhat close. Scherzer still took him on that 12 Ks per 9. Kershaw, the better ERA. It's really closer than I thought it would be when I first started looking into these things, but I'm going to go with Scherzer on this one over Kershaw.
All right, I like it. The season is over, Bubba. It's playoff time, baby. It's playoff time.
I have one question for you.
Okay.
This came out today. Derek Jeter has an office in Miami. It's official. Did you see the picture of him and his desk with 2 iPads?
Yes, I did. I know. I think it was Big Cat who put like A-Rod Corp next to him, like the person you thought or person you want to be, whatever that thing is. But has he fired? Has David Sampson, who he fired everyone yet? That's my question.
I haven't seen that, but one of the 2 questions I had is he has the 2 iPads, but how weird is it that he has a hand sanitizer next to his desk and like nothing else in the room? Did you see the standing hand sanitizer machine?
He's a germaphobe. That's 100%. Like I never hated Jeter. I hated a lot of Yankees, but I always respected Jeter, and I never hated that guy. I tried to find one way to hate him, but this is something that 100% he's a germaphobe. You know that. I mean, he probably hands that out in his care packages that he gives all the chicks.
I was about to say, do you think there's a thing of Purell in the gift basket on the way out?
100%. He probably has his picture on it.
Oh, man. And then the last one, and it's a really funny topic. I guess for some reason never thought of it, but of course, more Barstool stuff. The Barstool guys wrote an article on it. Do you think the MLB should be extra concerned or look into it more if he trades with the Yankees?
No, because I don't think as much as we think, you know, he loves the Yankees, he loves the Steinbrenners, he's a Yankee for life. I don't think that he would do that unless it's the best trade. If it's the best trade, then sure. But if we look at it and we don't know it's the best trade, or it comes out that there are other trades, then they might be a little bit concerned. But at the same time, I don't think they approve him going there if he doesn't. I know Feidelberg wrote that today. I was kind of tongue-in-cheek a little bit. But I don't think the Yankees are going to go for Giancarlo because I think they have their sights set on Bryce Harper and Manny Machado. I don't think they'll go for him. But when I get back from my honeymoon in a few weeks and we hit in this offseason, that's going to be the number one topic, I would think, is where he's going to go. Because I know your team wants a piece of it. My team, all 30 teams or 29 other teams will want a piece of him. But I don't think they should look in that. Do you?
Only if it's super lopsided.
Right.
Otherwise, Jeter's a baseball guy. He's going to do what he wants to do. He's going to clean house. So he might have to take it on the chin to get rid of some of these guys, but he's going to clean house. So it's just the way it is.
He's going to have to take it on the chin to get rid of Giancarlo. I can tell you that much because to take on that money and also to take on the chance of him opting out there's not going to be any big prospects coming back. Maybe like one guy, maybe one top 100 guy, but you're not talking if we're talking Yankees, no Gleyber Torres, no offense. You don't have a guy to really give up to get him like a top 10 guy. The Red Sox aren't giving up. They're not giving up Benintendi, not giving up Mookie. So it's not happening.
Yep. So like you said, it's playoff time. Let's do it. Episode 32 in the books. Remember, Mo's on Twitter at Boston_Mo. I'm at BDintric, and we are at Around Bases Pod. So get it in, enjoy the playoffs, and this time next week, we might almost be through some division series if some sweeps are in play. So let's get it in. Episode 32 in the books. Catch you guys later.
Let's go Twinkies.